Hi Taurus, welcome to your monthly scope. Please keep in mind this is only a general reading. Take what it feels right and with what resonates with your own life experiences at the moment. So, Taurus, July will be a month where your inner and outer strength will be tested. And it's going to be a hard month um, depending on your level of resistance to change, which usually is high. So there's some structure in your emotional life, probably concerning relationships that have been asking for change, that have been asking for complete liberation of every single aspect of your emotional self, of your way of relating, of your way of allowing unhealthy relationships in your life to surround you or to suppress you in some sense. And all of that is coming to a culmination point where that could be really visible for you in the month of July. There's this sense of carrying a heavy load in your life right now, carrying the weight of the world on your shoulders in some aspect of your life. This could have connection with just lacking physical strength, feeling really, really tired, being concerned about your health or with your family life. There's this lack of drive, lack of passion, lack of ability to trust yourself, which at the end of the day is a matter of self confidence and self esteem. So those matters are really popping up or will pop up during the month of July. So you can be aware of how much strength you have inside of you, how much courage you have inside of you to take a stand for your own self, not being afraid. There's also one thing you will need to realize during this month is there's a difference between being alone and being lonely. And there's probably going to be some kind of abrupt changes, changes beyond your control during this month of May that will affect you, but they will act as a relief. They will act as a capability. Those events will be catalyst events in order for you to allow yourself and allow your emotions to get free, to get expressed, to get expelled from containing uh, that containing process you have been putting yourself under from quite some time. There's a sense that you are able to create your own life at this point. You are able to create your own reality, but you need to remember that you are able to do so. So it's a matter of self-esteem and self-confidence, like I was talking about. It's about you being really determined, really ambitious, really assertive about what you want right now. It's about you stop compromising to please everybody in your life. Stop compromising even though you know you are compromising parts of yourself, of your individual self, in order to please or to conciliate or to deny aspects of yourself that are asking you are asked to go on the quest of knowledge at this time about yourself. So there's a lot about yourself, a lot about yourself. And the relationships at this point in your life are projections and are showing you aspects of yourself that you either are not aware of, consciously aware of, that you deny, that you suppress, that you reject, the shadow. So relationships, especially relationships that fit into this destructive pattern, that fit into this obsessive compulsive way of loving, of relating, where you just get to a point of feeling so that your nature cannot be fully expressed, where there's control, where there's jealousy, where there's matters of being really possessive, either through you or through others, are a way of you becoming aware of so many things that you still have to know about yourself in order to have a balanced, happy, conscious life. And July could be a special month in this matters. So I'm not gonna say that the energy that I feel or the energy that I see here is the most beautiful, smooth one. It has beauty in its own way, but I know it's a hard um, it's a hard pill to swallow because it comes from those hard lessons in life. But nothing, and I don't believe in those terms, nothing is really negative or positive. It all depends in the way you take the experience, in the way you see the experience, in the way you relate to the experience, in the way you interact with it and you allow it. That's the thing. The main message I want to get to you for the month of July is the month will be a hard month if you keep resisting whatever you already know that it's time to free yourself from. So if you have been carrying a heavy load that it's not yours, if you have been carrying a lot of responsibilities that you know it's time to delegate, that you know that it's time to unburden yourself from, July will be the month to do so. The problem here is also the way this event will come, because the problem with suppression, which is the departure, which is the way you begin the month, the focus, the whole energy, the central theme for you. Um, the problem with suppression is you are containing and you are containing and you are containing and you are burdening yourself with more and more responsibilities, more and more expectations, more and more undenied or undenied instincts, undenied desires, undenied voice, that you come to a point where you're you're almost active in the verge of becoming an active explosive volcano, because you are containing so much and you have been containing so much. And if you feel, especially in the beginning of the month, if you feel this heavy load, if you feel you have so much going on and you don't know how to free yourself from it, if you feel like you have no strength, like you have no courage, like you have no ability to liberate yourself from this, know that you do, because that's the fear from flying card. This is the resistance card, which is courage in reverse. Again, your courage, it's clouded. Your ability to be strong, your ability to undertake these hard lessons and learn from them and experience them and allow them, the energy is upside down, which means you have to access it. You have to make a conscious effort to remind yourself that you are strong and that you are capable of implementing whatever changes are happening in your life, that you are strong enough, that you are brave enough to stand up, to take a risk and stand up for yourself, even knowing that the circumstances around you may be apparently against you. Don't be afraid to show your beauty, your colors, your strength, your amazing, amazing, amazing nature. Don't be afraid to do that. Don't undervalue yourself. You are the sign of values. You know, like no better sign, the power of values, the power of solid foundations, I'm sorry, the power of constructing step by step your life. So it's time to put that earth energy into its better use, which is the ability for you to be strong. You are a very strong sign. So remember that and put this card upright. Remember that you are brave and you have the courage to undergo this process. You have the courage to take a risk, to take a leap of faith and create your life. And be called and don't mind if you are afraid of falling into this individual selfish behavior, because you are not being selfish. You are maybe for the first time in many months allowing yourself the joy of just being who you are, the joy of expressing your creativity, the joy of expressing your desires, the joy of expressing and living and feeling your vital force. So you have been depleted of energy, but at the same time, the response to that fear of flying is the creator. It's reminding you that you have that power of creation in your hands, that you have the energy, that you have the confidence, that you have that you are able to build your self-esteem back up again to a point you have never had before, in a way that it's truthful to who you are, in a way where you speak up towards yourself, you stand up towards yourself, you are an entrepreneur of your life. And it's a time to take a stand in that position. What I feel is you are too afraid of outer judgment. You are afraid of losing the control you still think you have of your life over those particular circumstances, which is the heavy burdens you have been carrying, and now you are so attached to them that you don't know how to let them go. How you don't even remember probably why you started in the first place to carry that responsibility, because maybe you consciously know that that responsibility was not even yours. So all of this is happening also for you to have the realization of the traps you are still consciously putting yourself into, that puts this prison walls, this inability to free yourself from the circumstances that don't please you, from the circumstances in your life that are of no favor, of a healthy favor for you. And that's why probably the intuition card, the steps needing to follow, is Thunderbolt. So this in the intuition is highly, highly, highly electric energy. So follow whatever your instinct, whatever your gut tells you this month, follow it, because it's your higher vibrations. They are so in touch, they are so connected with higher frequencies of awareness, of changes, of things you need to release yourself from. So if you do conscious work, if you meditate, if you are already in tune with your intuition, don't this month that could be especially emphasized, and it can be from sudden insights, sudden flashes, sudden ideas, sudden realizations, sudden actions, that you become aware of exactly how to go in the directions of the direction of the creator, and to release yourself from that suppression, and to put yourself back in the courage where you break free, break loose, destroy whatever prisons, whatever structures were built in your life with a false sense of security. If you don't make any kind of conscious awareness, and if you don't even understand what I'm trying to say to you, the most probable outcome of this card, of this intuition, is through a hard lesson, through a hard situation, a painful situation, where you will feel very, very, very shocked or surprised, but not exactly in a positive way, where something sudden happens and it changes all the prospects, all your plans, all your ideas, all that you up until that moment considered secure, safe. Even deep down, you knew it wasn't. So if you don't do that kind, if you don't understand what I was saying before, the most probable outcome is yes, something will happen to make this change, to make this need for you to go on your own path, to liberate yourself from those traps, from that prison sense, in a strong, immediate way, because your unconscious self had enough. So now it's time for you to understand that. And it can come in both channels, either through a sudden realization, a sudden inspiration where you're gonna do whatever you feel like doing and you stop trying and wanting to compromise so much, or either through a loss, through an unexpected event that you were not able to predict in any sense because you were unaware that this foundation was not solid. And that's why it's happening. And it's happening, the response to this, and it's happening because you were not listening. You were not being receptive. You were not allowing, again, your intuition, your guidance, your emotions, your dreams to have a space of prominence in your life. You were suppressing your dreams. You were suppressing your feminine, intuitive way of receiving life, receiving, nurturing yourself. And yet, the circumstances that surround you were just making all of your emotions contained. And then this thunderbolt happens and the waters begin to flood because they were contained. So now they will run out of control. They will run out of proportion. But the way to deal with this is to be able to understand and for the first time to listen to yourself. Listen towards your needs. Listen towards what's necessary, what your being, what your soul, what your heart is asking for you, from you, for you. And so don't feel over. You can and probably will feel overwhelmed, but don't feel scared about it. It's temporary, and it's especially um, for you to learn how to listen, to be in touch, to be connected with yourself, to be so much more integrated with your own emotional needs than you have before. What you need to relax and accept is aloneness card. And again, what I was saying in the beginning, it's not about, there's a difference between you being alone and you being lonely. So maybe it's time for you to undergo a journey and you need to relax that is maybe this is the end of a relationship. You have hold on tightly even though knowing that that relationship was not allowing, was not having growth anymore. This could be a loss in any kind of sense that will force you, that will inspire you for the first time to be alone with yourself without feeling lonely, to find the answers to the questions of the whys and the shoulds inside of you, to go with that wisdom to seek those answers. And the only way to do that is at this stage, at this moment, is by retreating a little bit from the busyness, retreating from the voices of the outside, retreating from the demands of the world and society, just doing your best to be at a retreat with yourself, to meditate, to study, to learn, to do self-conscious work, to put in, maybe for the first time again, to put in question every single thing you have as certain, as guaranteed up until this moment. Because I feel like there's one point in your life that you took for granted that will, and that's the hard lesson, that you took for granted that will crumble down. There's a structure that will crumble down. It doesn't mean that will die. It will crumble down. And in that process of crumble down, you will be forced to ask for questions. You will be forced to look into yourself and see how much of yourself you are still unaware of. Like if you are always the type of person that questions, why do I keep attracting the same type of relationships or the same type of patterns in um, projecting myself into the world? If you do those, if you are a person that still makes those questions, this month will be and can be a very enlightenment month for you, because you will access the fountain of knowledge. And for me, that access will be through the flood of emotions. So whatever you feel just so emotional, if you need to cry, cry. If you need to to scream, scream. Whatever emotion, don't suppress it. You have been suppressing enough. Now is just to allow yourself to feel every single tiny thing that is going on. And it can be it can be tricky. Yeah, tricky. Yes, I'm not gonna say it's an easy process. Especially earth signs, they like to be, they have this common sense. They like to feel really grounded and structured and don't like going to excesses. But you were already in an excess when you were suppressing. So now it's time to go to the other side of the moon. And when you finish that process of being in the extreme polarity, you can be able to find your balance back again. So the arrival of the departure, or the new state of awareness you can achieve from this process, is projections, which is amazing. And that's why probably this will come through a hard situation, or not so easy to understand situation through a relationship, because relationships are the best mirrors of ourselves. Relationships are the best way of understanding many things about our own personalities, our own individualities, and the things we still deny and reject from our own self, and we keep blaming the other person or blaming life itself, not looking into it and understanding that that's a part of us as well. So you will understand the illusions, you will understand the smoked mirrors, you will understand the lies, you will understand the deceit, and that aura of deceit that may surround you. But much more than understanding from a point of, oh, that person lied to me again, or that person betrayed me, is understanding what parts in you um, you were still deceitful to. You were still lying towards yourself. And when I say this, it's always in an unconscious way, because most of the times we do that in an unconscious way. We are not aware of it because we don't do awareness work. So how can we be aware? We are not taught to be aware. We are taught to be unconscious, which is that entrapment of feeling like destiny holds the key and all the answers and all the responsibility for our lives. Well, it's time to take that responsibility back to what you can do. Of course, there's forces beyond our control. There's events and circumstances we cannot control, we cannot predict, we cannot do anything about it. But we can, and we have a responsibility to be able to know what's best for us, what's in tune with our conscious self, with our higher self, with our heart's desires, and live by it. We should all of us, have a chance to do that without feeling criticized, ostracized, or just feeling like we have no place to express our freedom, our free essence. So, Taurus, this is an amazing month to get in touch with yourself in a level, in a really deep level, a level that you have been craving to, not really knowing, or maybe yes, you have. And now it's time, July, it's time of self-work, self-individual realization of your own power and your own ability to be who you are and stand up for yourself. Doesn't matter what kind of environment you are surrounded. Don't let yourself feel like you cannot be who you are because you want your environment to be at peace, because that's an illusion and a false peace. And again, whatever structure you have built or hold on into your life that it's not made of a solid foundation will probably come to will probably suffer a shakeup. So you can be aware of that, and ultimately, so you can be aware of yourself. So it's an amazing opportunity of growth. And I wish you a great month. Hopefully, we'll see each other in the next one, August. And until then.